Hello, welcome to Hot Indonesia, the program that deep thinkers depend on. I'm Dalton Tanonaka in Jakarta. Yes, they do. Here is this week's HI Hot List. The Jokowi era, why did Inauguration Day feel so good? Political bromance, what role can Jokowi's best friend, Paul, now play? And Goodbye SPY, our capsule review of the Yudhoyono years. Here every week when she's not in parliamentary debate is Rahayu Saraswati, Sarah, congresswoman, activist, and rookie wife. How's that going?
Ooh, rookie wife.
Yeah, that means first year. Yeah, there is.
Okay, right.
And next to her is Yeni Wahid, daughter of the, no, she's a director of the Wahid Institute, daughter of the 4th president of Indonesia.
And a dutiful wife.
And a dutiful wife, and a birthday girl coming up on the 29th,
oh,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
And a loving
I want to stay in the
loving
30s.
mother, of course. Hot topic number 1, the Jokowi era. And so it began, October 20th. Felt like a holiday when thousands filled the streets of Jakarta to welcome the people's president. Joko Widodo and Vice President Yusuf Kala rode a horse and buggy to a celebration beneath the National Monument. For this one day, Indonesians from all parts of the country felt united behind the potential for a better future. You know, I really believe that. No matter who you voted for, I think inside there was a feeling of pride and hope. Or hope. No, I do think so.
Well, I like that. I'm glad that you actually looked on it and could see the positive in it, which is that it was very hopeful. I guess that would be the word for it. There's, of course, the positives and the negatives. Anybody can look at
Well,
anything.
that's politics. I'm just saying for that one day, we all could just feel
Well,
good.
the inauguration just felt, first of all, it's historical. This is the first time that there's a transfer of power that's done in a peaceful way. And
First time?
First time, yeah.
Well, I mean,
in our history of
in the transition from Megawati to Yudhoyono, it was not very civil. I mean, it was peaceful, but
yes,
yeah.
Megawati was
peaceful.
And then,
yes, I think it wasn't.
And
really
a very
peaceful.
peaceful.
But this was celebrated, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the mood was very uplifting. You know, and everybody wanted this to succeed. Yeah.
As
Everybody
Indonesians, not as political parties. And there were some quantitative indicators of optimism as well. The stock market, the currency, all strengthened on the first couple of days after his inauguration, meaning investors believe in the Jokowi impact, at least for this week.
Well, I think some people also mentioned how it became stronger because there was a reconciliation between the two sides. Yes, especially with Mr. Prabowo Subianto attending the inauguration ceremony. However, I'm talking about, if you're talking about the day, you cannot just look at the inauguration ceremony itself. You also have to look at what was happening after that. And
well, I was just talking about inauguration day, actually.
Right, right. So the day itself, however, the day itself, it means that you also have to look at what was happening in the streets as well, right? With the celebration, etc.
They ran out of food, right? We heard that all
did.
the street free food they were giving out. So I mean,
it was good. It was great to see that there was a celebration, a sense of hopefulness. But I think that what we need to
I was waiting for her butt.
Yeah, of course. So what we need to remember, obviously, is that, you know, let's not celebrate too soon. Yes, we need to celebrate the good things and be grateful.
Dear, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, no, what to be grateful for.
Yeah.
The best part was when the palace gates were open and people were coming in. It just reminded me of my dad's day.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Does it remind you when other people, the first people's president of this country?
Yes.
Again, there are always the positive points, and that is something new and refreshing.
Well,
but
what
was happening in the National Monument, however, was a little bit of a. It was actually sad to say because I actually went there at 10 o'clock in the evening, and if they're talking about mental revolution and all of that, certainly it wasn't getting to their supporters.
Well, at that point, at 10 o'clock, they're probably feeling a lot.
No, it's not
good.
even about that. It's not even about that. It was trash was everywhere. It was ruined.
But you know what? Talking about trash.
Come on, you know there's going to be trash.
Well, talking about trash.
That's the thing.
There's
should be
a bunch of volunteers that were meant to pick up all the trash. I mean, they deliberately, form themselves and, just for picking up trash. And I think this kind of, selflessness or act of volunteerism, I think it's fantastic. I mean, people knew that there's going to be a lot of trash.
I agree with what Mr. Gamal Al Bin Said said when on the show with me on Kompas TV. He said that, when we're talking about mental revolution, it starts with example. It starts by example. You can't just talk about it and then not talk.
He revolutionized one thing, though, Jokowi, by allowing people to come to the palace. I think that's a revolution enough for me, at least in a compared to 10 years.
Let's talk about his inaugural speech. He called for all people to come together, work together to make Indonesia great. You know, I've been saying this for a while now, that we are on the verge of greatness, and it depends, I always say, on this leader. Whether it was Prabowo, whether it was Jokowi, this leader is the crucial one to take us to greatness.
Yes, and don't forget about the SBY. SB was there, and his role is also crucial to making sure that the inauguration ceremony went very well. And I think we should give him some applause for that.
Yes.
Okay, I'll give you a chance now, Director
and also,
Sarah.
Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
No, go
As a member,
please mention about Ibu Irina's kebaya, because I think it's something that's worth mentioning about.
why? Because of its what? Because of she wore one, or the beauty of it, or what?
No, I think, she wore a very traditional version of the kebaya. This is the kebaya version that was worn by Ibu Tin Soeharto, which is very traditional. It's very nice, and it's really the...
So more cultural than religious, right? More
very cultural, yeah.
Okay.
Epitome of the kebaya. And I thought, it's just worth mentioning.
She looked lovely. You know, Sarah, as a member of the majority coalition in Parliament, and as a family member of the losing candidate, what exactly was going through your mind on Inauguration Day?
To be honest?
Yes, of course. You always are honest. That's why you're here.
No, I mean, yeah, well, to be honest, it was a bit of sadness on my part.
Sure, of course, of course.
It was sadness because, obviously, from our part, we know that we weren't rightly heard at the Constitutional Court. We know that there was a lot of mistakes done during the campaigns, during the, election.
We've been through this.
And it was knowing that no matter how hard we tried to work for this country, it seems that it's just never enough.
Okay.
And so,
was there any part in that, like, I'm proud to be Indonesian today, and because everybody seems to feel good on this day and let us move forward? Of course, right?
Well, the good part was literally just that there's hope in the parliament, and that we can make sure that whatever decisions he makes in the future, we're always there to make sure that it is for the people.
And that is why you have separation of power.
And you know what's truly positive is it means that democracy is actually maturing.
There it is. There it is. And I can't emphasize enough. There was jubilation on the streets that I saw at homes and offices. And you know what? When he gave his inaugural speech, the oath of office was over. I was in my office, and there was actually applause in our newsroom. And you talk about hardened news people. It wasn't applause for political reasons. They were just happy as Indonesians that this happened.
Some people were shedding tears.
Yeah, there was.
I was sad as well, Dalton, for different reasons. Yeah, I mean, like Sarah, I was a bit sad also. No, because I remember, my dad, and we were denied the kind of farewell party for years. Yeah. So,
Okay, I got it.
There you go. It's a process of democracy here.
Okay, Hot Indo will continue shortly. Will Prabowo be Jokowi's best friend or foe?
iPod playlist is superb. Hi, I'm Caitlin Turner, and welcome to Yoga Bliss. It shifts forward and then start to fly. Pull your knee out and up to the sky, breathing here. Exhale takes you down into flying monkey. Arms wide, gazing out over your right fingertips. And inhale it all the way up and open. On your mat, bend your left knee and inhale your right arm up to the sky. Long spine here helps you to really twist open. Come join me on my journey every week on the Indonesia channel.
Yoga Bliss, only on the Indonesia channel.
Indonesia's first 24-hour English TV channel is here, with an exciting mix of programming to inform and entertain viewers around the world. The Indonesia channel offers something for everyone, from world-class lifestyle shows like Yoga Bliss to the hottest music hits and artists on iPop. News and information are an important part of the Indonesia channel, with Today's Indonesia and ASEAN Today providing what you need to know. International hosts such as Lorraine Han, Jamie Aditya, Caitlin Turner, and Dalton Tanonaka are among the faces you'll see. Movies, dramas, travel, and more are all on the Indonesia channel for the world to see.
You're watching Hot Indonesia with Yenny, Sarah, and me. Here's hot topic number 2, political bromance. It was the scene worried Indonesians had wanted to see. Election rivals shaking hands and smiling before the transition of power. Then, to some surprise, there was former Special Forces General in the VIP setting in Parliament on Inauguration Day, with the new president calling him his best friend. You know, I say to some surprise because you never know with the general, your uncle, if he's going to come or not, because he makes his own decisions. And especially with, the, as you referred to earlier, the heated emotions that followed the election. It was a nice bit of statesmanship, and I think everyone in this country and around the world appreciated your uncle being there.
I wasn't surprised, actually, about him being there.
But see, there was doubt. There was some concern.
Well, only because, you know why? Because he was actually supposed to be abroad. He had some business to attend to, and we weren't sure whether he would be able to make it in time.
He didn't schedule that before the election results, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, that was already, that was, because he wasn't really thinking he was going to get an invitation. I mean, first of all, you need to get an invitation from the parliament to actually attend. So when, and until a few days before, he actually had not received it personally yet, the invitation. And, you know, that's different. You actually do need to receive it personally. The other point was that, you know, a lot of people seem to be surprised, and that's why I stressed on I'm not surprised, because a lot of us already knew that he's always been a statesman. He's always been a person who, you know, if this is what's good for the country, then this is what I'll do.
And I think so too. Yeah, in all my meetings with your uncle.
So on that point, you know, and what's really amazing was that, you know, we had a standing ovation when he entered the room, because we were. You know, and she was there. Yeah. She saw
and clapping very hard as well.
Clapping very hard. Actually, it's a bit funny, but you know, it created a lot of relief for a lot of people, knowing that these are, you know, the two sides. It's a good example, again, setting by example, how it should be done, and that, you know, when even if you are foe in the political term, doesn't mean that individually you're not friends.
So where were you? Why weren't you in Parliament that day?
She wasn't in Parliament.
Oh, okay. You were there too, you're saying.
She saw me.
I wasn't a different...
She was behind her mother.
Oh, yeah, I saw you.
On this, yeah.
What was the mood for you that in Parliament that day?
Oh, I was really touched, and I think, you know, I've got tears in my eyes. I mean, I felt, wow, this is a really good start for Indonesia. I mean, if this is the start, then I can imagine that, you know, there's so many opportunities, there's so many potentials that we could achieve as a great nation, but it has to start with national unity. And when the leaders all come together, I think there's a big
you
big
can do anything. Does
yeah.
anyone here know how directly active Pak Prabowo is in leading the parliament majority? Does he hold strategy sessions with the coalition, or
it's almost on a daily basis that the leaders actually get together and talk about the steps, you know.
But your uncle directly, does he attend these sometimes, or does he?
No, he personally always actually.
Okay. That's interesting.
It's him and you know, Abu Rizal Bakri and all of the leaders from each, you know,
the Merah-Putih coalition,
you know, all the parties. They actually get together almost on a daily basis, literally, to talk about the issues and where we should stand and everything.
Do you think the president could give Prabowo an official or even unofficial role in government? I mean, that would really be extending the hand across the aisle, something unorthodox. I know.
If I were Jokowi, I would do that. I mean, I would call on him again and then ask him to play certain roles in even a global stage, because Prabowo's got like
a special advisor.
Yes,
that would be cool,
yeah.
wouldn't it? Would he accept? Would he?
I mean, that's what I love about, you know, in America. You know how. You know, even of course, it's in the same party. You would give the losing candidate, you know, a role in the
like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama.
Exactly.
A special envoy of the president.
I think on that point of extending the hand, I think I look at it more as it just would give us even more hope if the newly elected and newly inaugurated, thank you, newly inaugurated president would listen to not only those who are around him from his own coalition, but if he would actually open the doors to listening to other people, including Mr. Prabowo.
And I think he would.
Do you think Prabowo would accept that? Because if he would, I think it would be fantastic.
I don't know. Obviously, it depends on position and everything. But even if it's just,
but knowing him, you say he'd be open to hearing it.
You know.
Yeah, he'd be open to.
Oh, he'd definitely be open. To
and you're not a spokesman or anything. You're just his niece.
No. I think. Well, personally, again, knowing the statesman that he is, he would consider it. I don't know if he would. Nobody would know whether he would accept anything.
I mean, if anybody's watching from their camps, I mean, that would be a nice thing. I'm sure they considered it. It would be a cool thing.
I think a lot of people, and again, this is being part of Parliament as well. You know, a lot of people are like, well, it should be for the leadership. It should be from both sides and everything. Well, then, you know, we're also hoping, even in the cabinet, even in the ministries, it would be a representation from both sides. Then that would be fair.
Okay, last thing in this section. Does anyone think that Mr. Prabowo will run again in 2019?
Only time will tell.
Dead silence here.
I don't know.
I know it's too early to think, but you know, everywhere else you start running the day the election's over.
See, personally, I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because I mean, we have said that, you know, this is it. However, knowing, you know, again, how enthusiastic, even in our party, we still want him to lead us and everything. You know,
you never know, and he's still a young man.
Because
He's still a young man. He looks young.
Yeah.
For his age, really.
Yeah, good DNA for me.
He's 62, and you know, that's still 5 years, 67.
You know, it's not like, you know, Hillary Clinton's running and she's going to be
She's near 70.
She's going to be 72.
Yeah, well, Ronald Reagan was 72.
Yusuf Kala is 72.
Right, Yusuf Kala is 72.
But he's never been president. Okay.
But the thing is, you know, I think a lot of people need to remember again when people are saying, oh, you know, the people are all backing up. Yes, we're now supporting the government, but we need to understand again that there are 67 million people who voted for
Of course,
Prabowo.
it was almost an even
absolutely.
split.
So it was literally like 47% plus who voted for
Got it.
Carlos
He's got to
Subianto.
bring those people together. Okay, more Hot Indo is coming up. What will history say of Indonesia's 6th president?
iPop playlist is superb.
Passion for Fashion, only on the Indonesia Channel.
You're watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Here's hot topic number 3. Goodbye, SBY. Now, while global attention was on the celebration party for the new president, the previous office holder returned home quietly to his residence in Bogor. There were tears falling when Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono said thank you to those who had come for his farewell. Now, he told the small crowd that he was still deciding what he was going to do, but his aides say that SBY will soon become leader of the Global Green Growth Institute think tank based in Seoul. I say take a vacation first, man. Yeah, I mean, you deserve a rest. I mean, what the heck?
Right.
10 years in the pressure cooker.
What about the fried rice business that, you know, people
Well,
were
that's
mentioning
the
about?
final option, I think.
Music, you know.
Yeah, he could compose more
Music
music.
making.
and-
I would hope he has a bigger role. You know, I think like travel abroad, speak highly of our country's greatness, be the
Yes,
Bill
so
Clinton of Indonesia. Be the Bill Clinton of Indonesia.
You're thinking that's vacation.
No, I'm saying after, when he starts, after the nasi
I
goreng
wasn't so
stand.
sure.
He sets up the nasi goreng gila stand.
Yes, in Kalibata City, next to Bripto Norman.
No, but you know what I mean? He's got to, if he wants to be relevant, he's got to get out there. He's got, you know, if he wants to play a role in global
And it's got
affairs.
what it takes when it comes to global role, because, you know, his 10 years of government was marked by global achievements. I mean, he was focusing more on that, some critics would say, you know, than on domestic issues.
But unless the scrapping of the direct election law for regional leaders is overturned, his record will be tarnished. As head of the so-called Democrat Party and the founder of the Bali Democracy Forum, I mean, he got scorched for not leading his party or helping that decision. You always remember it for the last thing you do, unfortunately.
But it's again, if you remember what I said, you know, indirect elections does not mean a step back in democracy. America, your own country, Dalton, does not all states support direct elections.
Electoral college
and even
system.
in the United Kingdom is also an election.
But it usually happens that way.
So I mean, again, you're like
that kind of result denied Al Gore the presidency, even though he won the majority votes.
Hello.
But that's America, and they're a more developed democracy. They have reasons for it.
Developed democracy.
So what I'm saying, so you supported SBY in not taking a role in that.
No, not that. I'm just talking about you were talking. Yeah, but you were talking about how that's a step back in democracy.
No, that was last week's discussion.
It is a step back from democracy. I mean, I am firmly for direct elections on all levels, because that's what, you know. That's the only thing that will ensure check and balances, especially in the local area, in the local level. I mean,
but we were different in that. That's fine. I mean,
but
my
point that the number 6 will be remembered as being waffling on this issue. That's unfortunate, because his legacy up to then was fairly okay.
Yes. And it's a step back. I mean, he didn't have to support that. I mean, if he had to, and not only that, but he actually said that he's going to support direct elections, and then
he didn't take
any action.
Okay.
He
Now,
just let
I
things
think
go
on this
and-
issue, and I don't want to go into this because we spent the whole half hour last show.
I know, on the record, I was very angry with him for what he said.
Hey, well, that's why we're on this show. No, I mean, I think it will be overturned by the Constitutional Court. No reason. I don't know anybody on the court. I think that will be scrapped. I think we'll go back to direct elections.
No, because
the government's regulation.
They're going to review it.
Issued a government's regulation, and it's going to be submitted to the Parliament next year in January. And well, again, we'll see.
That's
but we're not going to argue that.
That's what's really funny is that we haven't even passed. As in, it's just passed. It wasn't even, you know, enacted yet, and he already put out a perpu. So again, one of those things.
He's trying to correct.
He has a lot of achievements, Dalton, and we want to remember the good legacies. Yeah. He has a lot of achievements. Obviously, myself on the our previous show, I have been very critical of his administration. But it is true that even in the past, and I've said this, I will stand by it, that perhaps the only weakness that I've always criticized is that he has always been he's the people pleaser. It's difficult when you're a president. He wants to please everybody. You can't have that.
He was a good transition president. Now this administration has to take us where we need to go. Okay, gotta go. Feedback time.
Stable time.
Please let us know what you think of what we're saying or what we didn't say. Sianto posted this on our Hot Indonesia Facebook page. Thank you very much for an English channel for My Indonesia. We are Indonesia wherever we are. Yes, we are, Sianto, and let's all stay connected through the Indonesia channel. If you have any feedback on what you've heard or would like to suggest a topic for us to tackle, please email us at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Indonesia channel Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram pages. Final words, Ms. Yenny.
If you happen to be in Bogor, come and visit the Museum of presidents of Indonesia in Bogor, next to the Bogor Palace. It's a very nice place and has many memorabilia, and it's many records of all the presidents from President Sukarno to President Yudhoyono. It's a very nice educational, also entertaining place for your kids to learn history about this country.
Free admission or small
Free admission. Sorry. Free admission.
Okay. Very good.
Oh, wow.
Sabotage.
She's falling over for this museum. Okay.
Okay.
I was so focused on what I was trying to say that...
Final words, Sarah.
Right. So, first of all, I didn't get a chance to say happy birthday. So, happy belated birthday to Mr. Prabowo Subianto, my uncle, who was
63, not 62.
63, not 62, because he just had his birthday. And
I wasn't invited to the party, so I missed it.
there was no party.
Okay.
Only Jokowi came.
Oh, Jokowi. They had tea
They
together.
did,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so yes, that's right. They had tea together. That was on his birthday. And of course, the other thing is, a great leader is one who is not about himself. It's not about herself. It's not about, just bringing him or herself up, but it's about bringing others to the next level, even at the cost of oneself. And I think that shows the dedication and character of Mr. Prabowo Subianto. And of course, one final note, what is good is not necessarily right, but what is right will always be good. And not a lot of people can understand that, and especially us being a young democracy. And I think we need to keep going to the next level and analyze everything that's happening, because it's affecting each and every single one of us.
In my final words, let me reiterate, it was very nice to see the spontaneous reaction of those who live in this country on Inauguration Day. There were smiles and laughter, and as I mentioned earlier, even applause from people you didn't expect it from. It didn't seem partisan, and for this one day, we were all Indonesians hoping for better lives under a leader of new hope. And that's Hot Indonesia for this week. For Sarah and Yenny, I'm Dalton Cataranta. See you next week.